What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode. Today we mix up nutrients and start prepping our water for our clones. I have power on in the tent, so everything is like ready to rock, and I should have clones coming probably sometime this afternoon. So my goal today was pH balance the water and get the nutes mixed. So let's do a quick flyover of the tent, and then we'll get to mixing here at my station. Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to get the water ready for my clones. My clones should be here, I think, either tomorrow or the next day. And so the goal today is to get the water pH balanced and get the nutrients mixed. So I'm working off of the RO system, which you've seen in a previous video. So my initial starting point for my total dissolved solids, or TDS, if you guys are unfamiliar, that's what that meter right there is for. My TDS is way low. I think it's like less than 21 parts per million. I think I checked it actually in my barrels the other day and it was like 5. So I'm coming from a nice starting point. And then for pH, we're gonna have to lower it a little bit. I think I'm sitting at like a 6.8 right now, so we'll lower that down a little bit. So first things first, I've calculated out my system is running off of about 94 gallons in between all 5 of my totes. I've got my main reservoir, and then I've got the 4 grow totes. So between all of that, I'm estimating I've got right about 94 gallons. So the first thing I'm gonna do before we pH balance the water is we're gonna add our nutrients because the pH will change once we add nutrients, so we're gonna pH balance afterwards. So the first thing we're gonna do, I'm using the General Hydroponics line, and the first thing I'm going to do is look at their growth schedule or their feeding schedule or whatever the f you call this thing, and it basically says for Flora Grow, Flora Micro, and Flora Bloom I need 2.5 milliliters per gallon of water. That being said, I have been told by everybody when you first get seedlings or new clones, start it at half strength. So I'm actually going to take that strength, divide it by 2, and then we're going to calculate it out. And it occurs to me I'm using my phone to record, so I don't have a calculator, so I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we're prepared and ready, so I'm estimating 94 gallons at 2.5 milliliters a gallon, so half of 2.5 is 1 1/4, so 1.25 times 94, that's 117.5 milliliters. So what I'm gonna do is I've got this guy right here. Believe it or not, that came off of a NyQuil bottle. It's accurate enough for what I'm gonna need. And I'm coupling that with a syringe that I took from when my children were little, and you dosed them with medicine with a syringe. You can get these for free if you go to CVS or Rite Aid and just go to the pharmacist in the back, ask him for some syringes. Those are free. You're welcome. So I'm gonna use that. We're gonna measure out our nutes. I'm actually gonna do kind of a not really time lapse, but I'm at least gonna fast forward this part because it's probably gonna take me a minute to measure this out. So let's do it. So this is Flora Bloom. I think if I remember from my landscape days, I believe this is, I don't remember from my landscape days, so never mind. One of those numbers is phosphorus, one of them is nitrogen, and one of them is magnesium? I don't remember. Someone comment down below and tell me how retarded I am because I don't remember that. So I'll measure all of my nutrients in this. This is my little test cup that I've got here that I'll throw my meters in. So by the way, I did check my total dissolved solids before I started. That's important, especially if you're not doing RO water, because if you don't know what you started with for parts per million, you don't know what you should end at. On this chart, it tells me once I'm done adding my nutrients, I should be around 400 to 600, no, yeah, 400 to 600 parts per million on what's in the water. Since we're doing half strength, I'm going to be shooting for about 250, right around the 250 mark. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, all of it's going to go in here. I don't know why, I can't tell you why. They tell you don't pre-mix nutrients, so I'm not going to mix all of them in this. I'm just going to mix each part in this. So let's get to it. Let's see if you can see that. I don't know if you can see the markings on there, but I've got 7.5 milliliters from my last run. So that is a total of 117 milliliters. I'll dump my extra back in the bottle there, and let's go add it to the reservoir. So we started with the Flora Bloom. This is Flora Micro. We're just gonna do the exact same thing. Flora Micro, it's going in. So there's Flora Micro done. We're gonna do the exact same thing with the Flora Grow. Oh, I don't remember which one's which, so I can't tell you whether this is more nitrogen, more phosphorus. I don't know what it is. Flora Grow. Be right back. For sake of time on this video, I'm not going to do the last one, which... Oh no, I take that back. That was the last one. So now what we're going to do is a supplement called CalMag. For those of you guys who are not familiar, which I'm sure the majority of people out there watching this are very familiar with all this, but for those who are rookies and getting into it like I am, CalMag is a supplement. When you use RO water, you don't have calcium, you don't have magnesium in your water because you've taken those out with the RO membrane. So now we need to put a little bit back in. So the feeding chart on here recommends 5 milliliters of CalMag per gallon of water. Again, I've been told by a couple guys that I know that are already growing, started out with half strength, so I'm going for 2.5 milliliters per gallon. Now, since we're prepared this time and we have our trusty calculator, 2.5 times 94 is 235 milliliters. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, sweet Jesus, man, this will go a lot faster if you had the right measuring tools. And I will tell you, I have graduated cylinders coming from Amazon and they'll be here tomorrow. So next time I do this, I will have the right measuring equipment. I might have nerded out a little bit because I'm buying graduated cylinders. That may be way overkill, but hey, it is what it is. And this is my grow, right? Yeah, so suck on that. CalMag. What did I say? 235 milliliters? 235 milliliters. Here we go. So there it is. It looks like tea. It is not. Don't drink it. Be right back. Last but not least on this one is UC Roots. It's a root descaler. From what I understand, it allows the plants to operate at higher water temperatures. It keeps the shit that's in the water from kind of clinging onto the roots and stopping them from absorbing nutrients, and a whole lot of other magical things that I don't understand. I haven't done a whole lot. I'm just gonna say it. I haven't done any research on this. I'm strictly going off of what other growers have told me. I need to probably go read on this stuff, but I've been told this is an absolute have to have. It does absolute wonders. So this, I'm adding 3 milliliters a gallon during the whole grow, and then for the last week of the grow, when you do the flush, I'm being told that you run about 5 milliliters a gallon. So with our trusty calculator, 3 times 94, 282 milliliters. So let's measure it out. That's a full glass. Be right back. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to let that circulate for probably about 10 to 15 minutes. I could probably do this test a little sooner just because of how much flow I'm running through my system. I mean, I've got two 400-gallon-an-hour pumps running, and at 94 gallons in the system, it's not going to take much time for those suckers to circulate the whole thing. But just to be safe, I'm going to wait about 15 minutes. And then we're going to come through, I'm going to fill this up. First, I'm going to go rinse this in my reservoir. And then what I'm going to do is fill this to this line, that little red line right there. That's where my meter will sit. So I'm going to fill this to that red line. We're going to put our TDS meter and our pH meter in this, figure out where we're at so that we can make sure we're good on nutrients, and also so we can make sure that we are good on our pH. So we'll catch you in 15 minutes. Alright, so I just went and stole a sample. It's been about 15 minutes since we added all of our shit to our water. Now it's time to check where we're at. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my TDS meter, turn that sucker on, throw that in there, and we're going to do the same for pH. So for my total dissolved solids, I'm sitting at 412 right now, which may sound high if you think about it, because I want to start at half strength, but if you think about it, we also added the CalMag and we also added the UC roots. I've actually done the calculation before I added this in, and so I do know that I'm safe. But my total dissolved solids right now is sitting right around 411 with everything. That's including UC roots, that's including the CalMag. So our actual nutrients, the Flora Bloom, Flora Micro, and Flora Veg, or Flora Grow, sorry, those are sitting right where they need to be. For our pH, we're sitting right about, well, I wrote this down earlier, 6.67. Now this is again where I've had to do some calculating. I figured out early when I first pH balanced my system as an experiment to kind of, this is how I dialed in how much water I've got in my system. I started with a pH of 6.8 earlier, and then I calculated that if I added 15 milliliters of pH down, it would drop me almost a full point of a full pH level. So I went from a 6.8 down to a 6.06 with 15 milliliters. So since I'm sitting at 6.67, ideally I want to be right around the like 5.6, 5.7 mark. I'm going to go ahead and add about 20 milliliters of pH down. So I know that was a lot to take in. It is what it is. So pH down. That's that guy right there. I will tell you, you have Flora Bloom, which is pink. This is orange. They're close enough in color. I would say don't fuck up, because you'll cause yourself some issues. So we're going to do 20 milliliters of this. Dump shit all over my meter bag here. So 20 milliliters. So there it is. Believe it or not, for 94 gallons of water, that's going to drop my pH almost an entire pH point right there. That little bit. So I can't stress enough, be conservative on your pH movements, give it some time to work, and then test it again. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go dump this in, and then we'll wait 15 minutes, and I'll see you on the back side of the 15 minutes. Alright, so it's actually been a little bit longer than 15 minutes. We snuck in some dinner in there. So we're like, I don't know, a half hour, 40 minutes later. And so I just went and pulled a sample from the reservoir. We know we're good for our total dissolved solids, so we're just going to check our pH here. Throw that in. And we're sitting about 5.86. So that's, I mean, it's a little tiny bit high for where I was shooting for, but I'm absolutely happy with that. So that also tells me that my calculations for how much water in my system are not that far off. So there you go. I don't know how fantastically I did this because, like I said, I am a rookie. This is my first grow ever. I'm kind of learning this as I go, but at least that may give you guys some sort of an idea of what to do, how to mix your nutrients. If I did a piss poor job, absolutely tell me in the comments and I'll do it differently next time and maybe do another video on how I'm doing this. So until next time, we'll see you guys later.